This happened a couple of nights ago and I gotta write it down. Thinking it and saying it sound too crazy. I've been with CMPD long enough to know the worst calls always start the same way. Can you check out a noise complaint? Sounds like a baby crying. That came over dispatch just after 2 a.m. I'm a dad, so of course I'm gonna go make sure everything's okay. Area was West Charlotte, just past Mount Holly Road, old woods near a defunct substation. Duke Energy fenced off years ago. I knew the area. Dense, overgrown, not the kind of place you walk a stroller. It is where a lot of people camp if they don't have homes, so my brain made the call that some poor mama was out there with her baby. I was wrong. Caller didn't leave a name. Just said the sound came from deep in the trees. Some drunk guy on his boat, probably out trying to catch some blue cats, heard spooky sounds in the woods. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I went alone. Protocol said I should wait for backup, but I didn't think much of it. Probably a fox. They make noises that'll raise the hairs on your neck. That or someone dumped a cat in the brush. Or at worst, it's a damn bobcat. Reason I know this is, I've had my run-ins with them in the lake. Norman's side of Charlotte quite a few times. They are mean as hell, but trick you by sounding like a baby. I parked on the shoulder and walked about 15 minutes into the woods. No trails, just soft earth and low branches clawing at my vest. The deeper I went, the colder it got. The kind of cold that doesn't belong in Carolina in April, but it's there anyway because the weather can't make up its damn mind. Then I heard it. Wah. Software. Weak. Definitely a baby. A newborn. That's what I thought. It sounded like my baby girl, like the day she came home from the hospital. I froze. It was coming from ahead, somewhere beyond the next ridge. But it wasn't right. The cry looped. Same pitch, same rhythm, almost mechanical, like it had been recorded. I unholstered my flashlight and moved slow. That's when I saw the eyes, dozens of them, reflecting back in the dark. They stepped out together, silent, coordinated. A herd of white deer. Albino. Every single one, bright as bone, antlers like coral. Eyes red. There had to be 20 of them, just standing in the trees, blocking my path. They didn't run, didn't twitch, just stared. Their bodies looked off, like they were stitched together wrong. Too tall, joints too low. One of them had legs that bent the wrong way entirely, and in the center of them stood one without antlers, smaller. Female, maybe. She opened her mouth in a way I had never seen a deer open its mouth, and from her mouth came the baby's cry. Wah, wah. I know I couldn't see my reaction, but I know that all color from my body left me at once. I felt hot. I should have run. I didn't. I raised my light, and they turned, all of them, at once. Walked back into the woods in perfect silence, vanishing between the trees. And the crying stopped. Just like that. I stayed there another 30 seconds before my legs started working again. I also might have pissed myself. Back at the cruiser, I tried to call it in. Static. My radio didn't work until I was 5 miles down the road. And brother, that was a long walk. Next morning, I came back with animal control. They found nothing. No prints. No fur, no signs of anything except a tooth in the brush. It was a human milk tooth, a baby tooth. Animal control guy said that's probably where the sound came from, a baby in the woods with a homeless mom. He shrugged his shoulders and chucked it in the woods. I don't know why, but I went and retrieved it afterward and took it home. Call me crazy. Whole department does now. They drug tested me after I gave my report. But here's the thing. Since I've brought that tooth home, I've caught glimpses of white deer in my yard at night. When I'm driving out on patrol, they run out in front of me. I've heard babies crying from the woods behind my house. I hear babies crying when I'm hiking in the mountains about 200 miles away from Charlotte. I hear them before I go to bed. My daughter is 14. I don't have a baby. She doesn't even live with me. I'm divorced. And the worst thing is, I don't know where that tooth is now. And the reason I'm writing this is because as I sit here in my home, I'm watching my security cameras. There's a white deer in my yard, and now it's screaming and yelling and cursing, but it's not a baby's voice anymore. It's mine. They sent me to check out an abandoned trail off Highway 321. Old park rangers call it Whistle Trail. It got closed down years ago after a kid went missing. Search teams found nothing but his shoes, placed neatly on a boulder at the top of the ridge. Locals still call in complaints sometimes. Lights in the woods, laughter, whistling, always whistling. The dispatcher said tonight's call was different. Caller claimed someone was following him, but when asked to describe who, he said, "I don't know. It looked like me." So I hiked in. The forest felt wrong the second I stepped past the old rusted gate. No wind, no insects. The air hung heavy, like it had been exhaled by something too big to see. About a mile in, I heard it. A whistle. 2 notes, high then low, almost playful. I called out, thinking maybe the guy who called it in was still out here. "Hey, this is CMPD. You all right out there?" No answer. Then, from deeper in the woods, "Hey, this is CMPD. You all right out there?" Same words, my voice, same rhythm. It wasn't an echo, it was a repeat. Perfect. A beat behind. I froze. Another whistle. Closer now. I backed up slowly, hand on my sidearm, scanning the trees. That's when I saw a movement, 20 feet ahead. Something stepped out from behind a tree. It wore my face, clothes like mine. Even the same patrol jacket, patch and all. But its eyes were wrong. Too big. All pupil. And it didn't blink. It tilted its head and smiled, then whistled. 2 notes, high, then low. I turned and ran. The trail didn't look the same going back. Trees seemed to shift. I ran past the same downed log 3 times, heard myself breathing, but not from my own mouth. Something was following me, matching every footstep. Breathing when I held my breath, whistling when I tried to pray. When I made it back to the gate, my cruiser was gone. Just gone, like it had never been parked there. I walked 5 miles to the nearest gas station. The clerk stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Said I'd already come in earlier that night, bought jerky, paid in cash, whistled the whole time. He even showed me the tape. It was me, whistling, smiling, eyes too wide. I sleep with the lights on now, and sometimes, around 3 a.m., I hear it outside my window. 2 notes, high, then low.